Hey guys, Brandon here. Thanks for tuning in today. The whole point of this series is to give you actionable advice you can start implementing today to help you create passive income and live life on your own terms. And today I want to talk about recession-resistant assets. What are they? How do they work? And how can they benefit you? So everybody remembers 2008 and 2009. And if you were in real estate, you really remember it because a lot of people went out of business. What happened with the credit market and the banks and everything drying up. So you still have a little bit of that left. And, quite frankly, today there's still a lot of euphoria. Now we're in a lot different fundamentals than we were back then. And history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. So I'm sure we're going to have some other events. So how can we position ourselves in real estate and other assets in order to stomach another market correction? And this is what led us to create our investment thesis here at HBG Capital is recession-resistant returns backed by real assets. And here's what we do. We focus on several different asset classes, and what we're looking for are asset classes that have an inverse correlation between the overall economy's performance and the performance of the asset. So we want assets in our portfolio that are going to do really well when the economy's in the stinker. And so for that reason, we focus on affordable first-time home buyer new construction, specifically in Middle Tennessee. We focus on Class B, Class C value-add multifamily. We focus on assisted living facilities, and we focus on mobile home parks and storage units. And again, the reason behind this we're going to dive into right now. So let's think for a second that some market correction is going to happen. There's certain needs that people have that are not going to go away. Housing is one of those. I don't care what the economy does, people need a place to live. So what happens is when you have these big downturns, like in 2008, 2009, where there's less money in the economy flowing around, people are losing their jobs, people are taking salary cuts, the need for housing is still there. So it doesn't go away. What happens is the consumers will push out of those more expensive, luxury living, nicer living arrangements into more affordable living arrangements. And so that's why we really like these Class B, Class C value add multifamily units that are, blue collar worker, right? They're not in your near the beach, Class A luxury resort type, but they're also not in your war zones where people get caught. They're kind of right there in the middle. And they're usually, built somewhere between the 1960s, the 1980s, sometimes 1990s. And that's why we really like that. And again, mobile home parks. It's the same reason. This is probably the most affordable piece of real estate you can move into. You've got to have your property management systems really built out. You've got to have a very good operator. You've got to have a really good system for screening tenants. But these make phenomenal recession-resistant things to hold in your portfolio, which is why we like them. Here in Middle Tennessee, we are vertically integrated. We are the capital raising company, the acquisition arm, and the construction company all into one. We're licensed, we're bonded, and we like affordable first-time new construction here in Middle Tennessee. And there's a couple reasons why we like it. So one is Middle Tennessee is affordable compared to the rest of the country. Last I checked, the median home sale price here in Nashville was $383,000. In all the areas around Nashville, Murfreesboro, Lebanon, Dixon, Clarksville, Gallatin, these places are on fire and it's bringing their values up. We want to be below that average area in the country, and we want to be somewhere that's very highly desirable. So Middle Tennessee is growing like crazy. And the reason is because it's affordable compared to the rest of the country. It's tax friendly, so we're like other states, we do not have an income tax. This makes it very attractive to businesses, and when businesses move somewhere, there's job creation. The economy does really well. It gives you a very good runway. When you have businesses move into an area, the economy is going to do well, and it's going to be insulated in and with you do have another market correction. So let's talk about another reason why we like Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee is very friendly to developers. Now, some of the core counties like Davidson County are changing a little bit. It's getting a little bit more difficult, but they are still giving these big businesses like Oracle and Amazon and Alliance Bernstein big tax cuts to move their businesses here because they know that businesses create jobs, which creates growth, which creates revenue, which creates a great economy. We like that. So on a local level, you have the local city working with these businesses, giving them further tax cuts, working with them to get everything done. And here's another reason why we like Middle Tennessee. You've heard horror stories about New York and California, how it takes 2 years to get some permits pulled. That is insane. 2 years. Can you imagine buying something, holding it for 2 years, and hoping you can build something on it? That is crazy. Here at HBG Capital, we don't buy anything that's not entitled. So having friendly permit processes with the city allows us to put everything under contract and take it through the entitlement process and permit process until we're build ready. And once we're build ready, then we can close on it, and that reduces a lot of risk. Doesn't matter if we're doing a spec home that only takes 3 months to pull a permit and it's ready to go, or we're taking a full 6-month turnaround in order to rezone something. Either way, we do it while it's under contract, and that reduces a lot of risk. Let's talk about another reason why we like Middle Tennessee. Great demographics, Music City, tons of tourism, year-round economy. It literally doesn't stop. Nashville overtook Las Vegas as the #1 bachelorette party city in the United States. That was like 3 years ago. It is the country music capital of the world, and it has a phenomenal tourism industry, which keeps the economy going year-round. Now, another reason on a more microscopic scale is we want to be vertically integrated. And the reason for that is we don't want our business to be at risk if we were to buy a piece of land, go under construction for 36 townhomes, and then all of a sudden that builder retires overnight, or he bites off more than he can chew, or becomes disabled. And all of a sudden our whole portfolio and our investor partners' capital is at risk. We don't want that. We also want to create a situation where the builder's incentivization is directly aligned with the investor's incentivization to get the project done. So because we're the builder, we don't make money until after our investors make money. If you were to hire out a builder, that wouldn't be the case. That builder works off a fee. And so what happens is they're not motivated to get the project done very soon. So as someone who isn't going to profit until after the homes are sold, we're very motivated to build these things as quick as possible. And a lot of times we're building them in 8 months or less, and we're in and out, which brings me to my next reason why we like this area. And, the strategy that we're using as a company is we want to be in and out as quick as possible, because that allows us to have less exposure for market risk. In 2008 and 2009, a lot of the spec builders that got hammered were the guys that it was taking 18 months to build the home. We want to be in and out in 8 months. So we can see something on the horizon, happening. And if we're in and out in 6-7 months, the market hasn't turned enough for us to get, hit a lot on our equity. Speaking of equity, underwriting deals. Where do you want to be? How much leverage? What does a good deal versus a bad deal look like? We're underwriting all of our loan to values, LTV, that might be another term that you've heard, at around 50 to 65%. We want a nice runway in the event that something does happen and there's a correction. We want a ton of equity before our principal's pad gets hit. And that's one reason why we really like this area. We're finding very deep equity deals that are fantastic. Now, lastly, let's talk about the price point. You've heard me talk about how when the market does turn, you've got these more higher end living arrangements that don't do well, and people push into those more affordable housings because, again, the need for housing does not go away. That's what we like to focus on. We like to focus on deals where our cost basis is right around $300, $325, or a whole lot less. So usually in this market, we're buying homes, selling them anywhere between $500,000 and $600,000 on the really high side. Again, only having about $350 in cost basis with the land and vertical. That gives us a big runway for that price to be reduced. In the event something happens, we can still get out of that asset. On the low end, we want to be building homes where we're selling them for $250,000 to $380,000. That's the bread and butter of our portfolio, and that's what we focus mostly on. And again, we don't want to be into those deals for 50 to 65% of the loan to value, because that gives us a huge runway. So we've tried to build in as many barriers to being hit by the economy as possible, and that's what's led us to why we've chosen these assets. Hey, that's all for today. Again, if we've been having a one-way conversation, if you're interested more about how you can invest in recession-resistant assets and get passive income, we'd love to schedule a call with you and learn more about how we can help. Schedule a call with us today. Look forward to hearing from you. That's all for now. See ya.